Welcome to a Community Partners interview where we explore the organizations, opportunities, and resources that look to make change in our daily lives. I'm your host, Jocelyn Dore, and you're listening to Voices for Ability Radio, all abilities, all the time. Today, I'm joined by Sarah Pollock, the Assistant Director for Accessible Waters and Adventures. Accessible Waters and Adventures, also known as AWA, is a nonprofit organization dedicated to creating opportunities for adaptive outdoor recreation in Alberta. They believe that the great outdoors should be accessible to everyone, and their services are designed to provide individuals living with disabilities with independently led adventures in the locations of their interests and with their chosen adventure partners. With a focus on meaningful experiences, the AWA team work to provide access to adaptive recreation equipment for a variety of adventures in nature. Their tours support individuals to take part in outdoor activities of their interest, including nature sighting, fishing, and boating. Thank you for joining us today, Sarah.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us a bit more about you and what inspired you to work at AWA and to work with individuals with disabilities.
Yeah, sure. So our organization is actually a family-run organization, and we're fully volunteer run. My dad has been an avid boater for my whole life, as long as I can remember. And as a family, we'd go out on the water all the time and go fishing and down North Saskatchewan and see all the nature, etc. And for several years, he'd wanted to take out some other family members who maybe had some challenges with mobility and disability and limitations to actually get out and go boating. And he was quite struck with how many barriers people living with disability face. And so he started dreaming up ways that he might be able to adapt his own boat to do that. And he talked about it for so long, and we just kept saying, "Just do it already," and then he did it, and I love the idea, and I think we have a unique service that's not available widely, and, yeah, so as a family, we've all, joined in to contribute to the organization. My role specifically is kind of all the back end stuff. I do all the bookings and the websites and stuff like that, but my dad, Butch, is our captain, and my sister does our social media. My sister Claire, her partner helps out, down at the river with unloading the boat occasionally, and, yeah, and my mom does the bookings, and my brother's all over there. So we're just like a little family group that really wanted to support, the community and make sure that we could, everyone could enjoy what we enjoy.
How did Accessible Waters get its start?
Yeah, after my dad came up with the design to modify his boat, we got the construction done, and during that period while the boat was getting fixed, I spent a lot of time reaching out to local organizations in our region of Northern Alberta, seeking feedback on the design and guidance on what services might be of interest to individuals living with disability in this area, what's already out there. I reached out to all sorts of groups that do somewhat similar things as us to see, to get feedback on how we can do this the right way and the best way. And so with all of that design, once we got our boat launched, we got a local community group, with individuals living with disability to come in and test it out, and we took them for a kind of like a pilot ride and make sure the ramp was good and got their feedback, and then officially launched as Accessible Waters in 2022, and, like, put our boat in the water for the first time. That year was huge. We had so much interest. A lot of people came out. It was so much fun. Yeah, there was a big big influx of people that had never been on a boat before and really wanted to get out there as a family. And so we had a lot of great tours in that first year and then continued in our second. And during that period, a lot of our clients talked about additional limitations and how much fun they had on the boat and getting out in nature and seeing things and wanting to do more. But the availability of those kind of land-based recreation options for adapted equipment is very limited, especially in our region. And they talked about wanting to do it like, privately, like, with their own people on their own time, and a lot of organizations that are available, at least in Alberta, that do have that option, you do have to travel quite far to do that, and you do it kind of as a group-based activity with individuals you might not know, guided specifically by, like, people from the organization, and they're really great because they go out in the mountains, etcetera, but a lot of our clients talked about just wanting to go camping and having ability to, like, have, access to, a camper or a RV that has, um, accessibility, and so that's where we started exploring into that realm, and we kinda rebranded ourselves as Accessible Waters and Adventures with hopes that we can, starting in 2026, offer, land-based adventures.
While doing research, I saw that you have your own boat and equipment. Can you tell us a bit more about your boat and the different equipment that you have?
Sure, yeah. Our boat, like I said, is a fully modified boat, so, we have ability to anybody that uses any sort of mobility aid, a wheelchair, walkers, electric chairs, scooters, etc., um, or just needs a little bit of assistance, getting in and out of the boat. We have a ramp system that it makes it really easy to get in. All of our seating with on the boat is adjustable, so we can move it around to accommodate whatever equipment kind of comes on and what's needed. And we, yeah, have safety measures in place for the wheelchairs, so locking those safety locks that exist. So we have those on the boat, and yeah, and then we can take people out that way. For land-based equipment, it's actually very fresh, so you're the first to find out that we have, just acquired our fully wheelchair accessible, RV for camping, and we want to launch this in 2026. Um, yeah, this RV has a lift system that allows anybody, with a wheelchair or any other needs to easily enter into the RV. It's got additional space made so that, wheelchairs can get around easily within the RV. Usually those RVs are quite tight and cramped, but this one in particular is quite wide and can get in and around. There's a washroom and a shower that's adapted to be more accessible. And we're hoping, and our plan is to have this available for bookings, with the bookings opening maybe early 2026, probably in February for the summer season next year. And we'd like to be able to offer individuals living with disability and their families and friends to book the RV, get a boat ride, and just like have a wonderful outdoor adventure.
That sounds amazing.
And we're excited.
So, what types of adventures do you do? I know you talked a bit about the land ones, but what kind of stuff do you do with the water one?
The North Saskatchewan River, we're based near Devon in Alberta, which is just 20 minutes southwest of Edmonton. But we try to stick close to our land base, or like, sorry, to our home base, just to make it a little, easier to kinda get around and do more things, but we have hopes to expand a little bit further with it, once we make better connections with different groups. But we typically go on the North Saskatchewan River, which, we launch either from the city of Edmonton or, in Devon, and those 2 launch sites give us very different adventures on the water. From the Capilano Edmonton launch, people will often really enjoy going along the river there, seeing the skyline of the city from the river. It's quite beautiful. You see, like, Hotel McDonald. It looks like a castle. You can see the legislature and Canada Place, and it just looks quite beautiful. And there's so many different bridges that you can go around. And the river valley of Edmonton's quite nice. So people often pack a picnic, and the captain, my dad Butch, will take people out and go down the river looking at the scenery, and then kind of float and have their picnic and enjoy a nice evening on the river. From Devon, we usually head upriver towards Genesee area, and it's more nature sighting. And so often our clients have the privilege of seeing like bald eagles and sometimes deer and moose, lots of beaver and all sorts of beautiful birds that are out there, and geese. Sometimes we see some other things. We've seen golden eagles before out there, and so they'll head out that way and cruise along, kind of dip in between the different islands and seeing what they can see there. Now, on the North Saskatchewan River, you can do a little light fishing, and some of our clients opt to try to do that as well. But we do offer fishing trips out to different lakes around this area. The most popular and most, shall I say, like easy to catch a fish lake is the Wabamun Lake. That's about an hour from Edmonton, maybe 45 minutes. And there, people can book a day trip with their friends and family and go fishing. And this seems to be quite popular, and we love taking people out fishing. It's so great to see like the look on people's face when they've caught their very first fish ever, or getting back into it. We've had several clients that used to fish quite avidly in their younger days or prior to an injury, and then due to disability haven't been able to get back onto a boat or onto a lake to do fishing. And it's been such a privilege to be able to be a part of that and get people back out there and give them an opportunity to do that. So we've had quite a few different groups that have now gotten back into fishing and returned to get into that as well.
Are there any restrictions to accessing your services?
No restrictions. Our services are designed to cater directly to individuals living with disability. There is other boating and RV rental companies that people can access that are not adapted for accessibility. And so we aim to keep our services just targeted towards a specific community. We're quite unique, and we know that, and we want to be available to those that really need our services. So not per se restrictions, but we we're we're a we have narrow clientele that we like to focus on, and we want to serve that population as best as possible.
Without using any names, can you share a success story with me? What supports were put in place when someone asked for your services?
I was mentioning about fishing, and I was thinking about this group that came last year. An individual had reached out, and their father was passing, and the individual themselves and the father had limitations with mobility, but also used a wheelchair on a daily basis. And so the family asked if we would be able to accommodate a fishing trip because they wanted to do fishing one more time as father and son, and they needed to get out kind of sooner than later, and we were able to get a fishing trip organized for them. They went out on the river once and really loved that and had a bit more time than they anticipated, and so ended up coming out fishing on Wabamun, several times, and they just had a great time. They, had a couple drinks and enjoyed the beautiful scenery and did some fishing together. It was really beautiful to witness and be a part of, and so we were really thankful to have that opportunity to take them out.
What is something that you see happening over and over again to individuals with disabilities that shouldn't be, and how do you think it could be stopped?
Lean on something that another one of our clients had told me in the first year of our operations. She's a local disability an advocate for people with disability here in Edmonton, and she came out on a tour with us and really highlighted what it means to live your life using a wheelchair and the limitations that she felt, and I felt I learned a lot from her, and she talked about how that it should be automatic that things are accessible and not an afterthought. It should be that new restaurants and buildings, et cetera, are built with accessibility in mind and not having to display when there is like a window placard to say that this building is accessible. It should just be automatic, and it should be actually the opposite. It should be that every building and every service is accessible, and only those that aren't actually have to display that they aren't. Thinking about that and what she had said, now every time I'm traveling around and looking around, I'm very conscious of how difficult, it can be for individuals living with disability to get around and do the things that many of us just take for granted and don't really realize, so I think I'll lean on that.
Are there any events coming up for AWA?
No big events. We just have tours all summer. Um, so people can book tours through our website, and we do tours on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays typically. We do have some flexibility if there's a need, but yeah, we typically go out all summer, and so our, capacity to do events is quite limited. We go all the way until early October, where you can still do fishing out on the rivers in or on the lakes in early October. So we're busy until then. Afterwards, we typically try to participate in the International Disability Day, which believe is December 3rd. And so we usually do an event somewhere and participate in one of those.
Yeah, fair enough. I guess summer would definitely be your busy time.
Yeah, we're very seasonal.
So, if someone wanted to access your service or volunteer with you guys, what are the processes for doing that?
Yeah, we would love volunteers. That would be so great. The process would be just to contact me through our website or email me at info@accessiblewatersandadventures.org. Booking our tours, there's different options available for what we can do, and we are interested in kind of customizing different tours if somebody is interested in doing a specific type of fishing group or fishing tour, etc. But they can do that on our website at accessiblewatersandadventures.org as well. And yeah, for volunteers, we don't have like a big operation. We're quite a small nonprofit, but I would love to get more people involved in what we're doing, and I think in 2026 we're probably going to be a little busy with our accessible RV, and we're excited for that. So if somebody is interested in reaching out, we'd love to hear from them.
What is one thing that everyone needs to know about your organization?
Yeah, I don't know. I think what's special about us is that really grew out of just wanting to see better for everybody in our community, and I think that we've continued that on, and we want to be better, and we want to do that. We want to do a good service for the individuals that we serve, and so we seek a lot of feedback, and we want to hear from our clients on their experiences and what they want to do next and how can we help. We try to advocate as much as possible in the spaces that we have a voice in to advocate for accessible recreation and increased accessibility in spots in natures like the Edmonton River Valley and the Devon River Valley, making those areas barrier free for everybody. So yeah, I think just knowing that we want to do more and do it better, maybe it's something that people can know. And we are a volunteer base, and so also we do have some limitations as, our capacity is limited, but we wanna serve the community as best as possible.
If listeners are looking for more information, how can they reach out?
Definitely follow us on social media. So you can find us at Accessible Waters and Adventures on Instagram and Facebook. And then sign up for our newsletter through our website. The website is accessiblewatersandadventures.org. And there's only 2 newsletters per year, one at the beginning of the season and one at the end, but through that, you'll get early, notification of when booking opens, so you can get, early access to booking, or if there's any um, new services or tours that we're offering, you'll be the first to know. And that's usually also through those subscriptions that we seek feedback. So if you're interested in offering us some input on anything that we're working on, we'd love to hear from you. So sign up for our newsletter on our website.
Thank you. I've really enjoyed learning about your organization today, and definitely, if I'm ever in Alberta, I will try and book a tour. Thanks again for joining us today, Sarah.
Thanks for having me, and we hope to see you on the water.
That would be amazing. This has been a Community Partners interview on Voices for Ability Radio. All abilities, all the time.